Friday. We're going to get started in a second, and happy 4th of July weekend. We are going to make sure we are rocking and rolling across our different platforms as always. We are live on Instagram, on LinkedIn, and YouTube, so please feel free to join me from whichever platform feels best for you. Looks like we are coming up live from what I can see. We're going to do a quick refresh here, and we're going to dive in. Should be just about there. Let me just check, and we are going to get started. All right, I think we are live. Amazing. Well, hello everyone, and happy Friday. Also, happy 4th of July for everyone celebrating. I really appreciate you taking a little time with me here as we close out the week together. I thought, should we keep doing it given the holiday? But I want to make sure that we are getting your questions answered for our live Q&A, all things career. If this is your first time joining us here, welcome. My name is Tiffany Human. I'm a former L'Oreal exec turned career coach for ambitious women looking to land better roles and faster promotions and speak with confidence. I'm also a LinkedIn learning instructor with close to 1 million learners, as well as a career coach for Microsoft. So we like to peel back all the layers here to set you up for the most success in your career. We like to keep these pretty informal too, to take any questions that are coming up for you right now in your career. Maybe it's a challenge you're going through. Maybe it's a burning question that you have and you're just like, gosh, I have no clue how to handle this. Maybe it's something that you're trying to achieve for yourself and you've been having difficulty doing that on your own. So just know that this is a really safe space, and I really love doing this with you every Friday. So if you are a repeat viewer and attendee, well, welcome back. So good to see you back here. And again, we are streaming right now across Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So if you see me looking a little bit to my right, I just have a few different screens going on in the background. I want to make sure everyone is able to get connected with us. And of course, if you are joining us live, please say hi in the chat. Let me know where you're joining us from, what kind of work you do. I should be seeing all of those comments come through on my end. So I'm just going to keep a quick eye out as those are coming through. We did get a couple of questions ahead of time as well that I'll take on today's live, but I want to give you all, the courtesy of being here live with me to get your questions answered. So please do not be shy. There is no such thing as a stupid question. I really want to make sure that we are addressing what's coming up for you right now. This could be tied to internal challenges you might be facing, or struggles that are coming up in your career, or perhaps you're going for a different role, a new type of position, and you're unsure of how to do that effectively. And perhaps just as a quick note for any of you joining us here across our different platforms, I have some amazing free resources that are available for you as well. So if you want to grab all of them, you can actually just head to my link in bio after this live session together, whether over on Instagram or LinkedIn. You can get all of them accessible there. Or I can also share that throughout today's live too. But I have a wonderful confident communication playbook that includes 50 of my best scripts to get seen, heard, and promoted faster. And we cover some really critical work moments so that you show up with full confidence in that. We have my Nail Your Interview training, which has supported thousands of professionals now. And it's definitely something you want to get your hands on. If you want easy access to that, again, you could just head over to my link in bio where you'll see all of the resources for you. If you are joining us on Instagram, you could actually just comment interview right now in the live, and I'll send it straight your way as well. And then we also have some other good freebies there, like also my free newsletter that I publish 2 times every week with practical tips and scripts and strategies that will help you level up really fast. So if you are joining us on Instagram, you could just comment learn, and I will send that your way. It's also accessible in my link in bio. So for anyone joining us over on LinkedIn, you can grab it from there. You can also just get it from my LinkedIn profile. If you scroll down a little bit in my featured section, you need to be there. We have incredible people joining us there and leveling up with me every week. And that's what we're here to do, right? And if you're over on YouTube, all good. You can actually grab these links also from my description there on my page, or on my website or from LinkedIn too. All right, so let's get some Q&A going. I see a few coming through live, so maybe what I'm going to do is take those first, and then I'm also going to come to one that we got ahead of time, which was more around building relationships, especially when landing a new role or looking to kind of get promoted. So that's a big topic and one that is absolutely critical. So I'm going to come to that one in just a few moments. And again, please feel free to share any questions that you have directly with where you're joining us from. I should see those all coming up in my feed. So I'm going to keep a quick eye out on that as well. I do see some here over on Instagram. So let me go ahead and scroll back up and make sure I didn't miss any. Okay, this one is from Jay Tamson. Thank you so much. The question is, how can you define your role more clearly without seeming pushy, demanding, or selfish? Oh, I like that. I like this question. So when you're asking about clarifying or defining your role more clearly, that obviously helps when it comes to promotion velocity, because when you're clearer on what your role entails and how you're being measured for success, you're going to be able to know what to actually focus on to drive your growth, right? And so, with that in mind, there's a few things that you can do, and it won't come off as pushy or demanding or selfish. It's more around making sure you're bringing out your best in your role in a way that helps your development, but also helps your organization because they're getting more from you in a leveraged way, right? More value, more results, more impact. And so this could be a conversation you have with your boss. I would recommend doing it in a one-on-one setting, perhaps even in a status meeting that you have with them. And you could frame it in the following way. So you want to start with kind of your current situation and perhaps where the ambiguity is in your role. And you want to frame it. I like this timing of the year specifically because it's like the halfway point. And I don't know how long you've been in your role, so feel free to share that with me. But either which way, you want to use the remainder of the year as kind of the segue to have this conversation. So this could sound something like, given that we're at the halfway point of the year, I wanted to take a moment to realign on the details of my role and get a little bit more clarity around the expectations and some of the objectives that I'm being evaluated against. I really want to set myself up for the most success in the position and in a way that also brings a lot of value for our department, for our division, for our company. And then this is where you're going to shift into the second piece, which is where you're going to ask some very specific questions to get specific answers. So this is where you have to do a little bit of prep work, but you could come and say something like, for example, right now I've been focusing a lot of my energy on X. I do believe that doing more of Y would be more valuable. Would you agree with that? And you're getting these types of alignments with your manager as you're walking through the conversation. You could then have another follow up from there and say, okay, that's really helpful. And one thing that I recognize is taking a lot of my time, but I do believe that focusing more on fill in the blank would be more strategic as this next phase of my role. Here's what I'm thinking. Let me know if you agree with that approach. And so you're kind of giving these like impromptu recommendations and suggestions. So it actually becomes a lot easier to get the alignment from your boss and clarity on your role in a way, again, that's not pushy or demanding or selfish. You absolutely owe it to yourself to know how you're being assessed in your role, how success is being measured, where you should be putting your time and energy, and there's nothing selfish about that. I think if you're making it all about you, it could seem selfish or sound selfish, but the way we're framing this for you is actually how it brings value to the company. I'd say the third piece is making sure that you have really clear action steps coming out of this conversation, and you can recap that with your manager before you close the convo. Okay, so that might be something like, thank you again so much for this discussion today, or thank you so much for your input. This is a lot clearer for me. Here's what I've kind of taken away. And then you maybe outline and recap back to them the 3 to 5 things that you've gathered from that conversation. And you're going to end with an alignment question like yes or no, right? So it could be something like, did I gather all of that well? Did I miss anything? Is there anything else you'd add? Right? And like this, you are leaving that clear, confident, and ready to act on, and in a way that supports your development goals. Which, by the way, actually reminds me, I have an amazing event coming up towards the end of July in helping amazing women level up in your roles, land better positions, more senior level roles, and really break through with confidence and learn how to speak with confidence and really put all the cards on your side to get ahead faster. So, if that is something that you feel can be really beneficial for you right now, I would love for you to sign up. We are only having 100 women for this private masterclass that I'm hosting. That's 100% free. And you could actually sign up again in my link in bio, or if you're joining us from Instagram, just comment grow and I will send the details your way. We have a few different time options. So again, just comment grow and I will send that your way so that you can sign up. The spots have been filling pretty quick already. We're keeping it really intimate with just 100 women, but I would love to have you there. And I think it's going to help you a lot at this point of transition of leveling up in your own role from what it sounds like. So hopefully that's helpful. Let me know if you have any follow-up questions to that. I think that's an excellent question to kick off today's Q&A. We have another question here coming through from Instagram from Trey Linek. I hope I'm pronouncing that well. I've only been able to find positions that are way below my skill level. I have 20 plus years of experience as a buyer and unable to find anything near the salary that I have earned in the past. Okay, so I imagine for you, Trey Linek, you're looking for a new role. And here's the thing, there are certainly roles that are going to be at the level that you want. Perhaps it's a bit of the type of search criteria that is leading you to find roles that seem like they're not matching your level of experience and seniority. But I wouldn't get discouraged by that. I also don't want you to undersell yourself or go for a role that's at a lower level than it should be. So, for example, if you have certain companies that are top of mind for you, this actually ties to one of the questions we got ahead of time from our community, which was how to actually build meaningful relationships to land better roles and new opportunities. And so, I'm going to kind of tackle this together if that's all right, because relationships are going to be a huge gateway for you to uncover the roles that actually meet your level of seniority. And just because these roles might not be posted publicly doesn't mean that they're not available. I will say there's a huge portion of roles that aren't ever posted publicly because they're filled through recommendations or referrals or, internal allies that you've gained in an organization. And they don't post those publicly because they want to fill them that way and it's a more trusted source. So big rule of thumb here is let's get more proactive in building those relationships within your target companies and help them discover who you are and what you can bring to the table for opportunities that might be active right now that might be coming down the pipeline, but build your visibility. Okay. Another thing that you can do even on LinkedIn is actually search like your target role in the search bar, and then pair that with hiring next to it. So you see which posts actually come up from people who are hiring for those positions at respective companies. So it's going a little bit away from just job applications, which I don't typically recommend relying on, and actually finding the people who are hiring for these positions in companies that might be of interest to you. And then you know who those people are. You can reach out to them directly. You can comment and engage on the posts that they're posting because these are like active roles that they're looking for right now. And you're kind of getting straight to the source, right? That can go a long way for you in finding which roles might be a better fit for you. The other thing that might be something to factor in, and again, I haven't seen your LinkedIn profile, so I'm not sure, but it's possible that the way that we're positioning your story and personal brand is not aligning well enough with the level of roles that you want to attract. So sometimes, and I see this with our clients often in the way that we support them on that, is really elevating your personal brand and your digital footprint so that the message you're sharing in your networking conversations, in your LinkedIn profile, actually attracts the right roles and the right leveling instead of the ones that are falling too short. So perhaps for you, Trey Linek, I'd be curious to see, are we very clear about the level of experience that you have, the titling, right? If you're at like a senior level or director level, is that very clear on your profile? Because again, when we think of a platform like LinkedIn and the discoverability on there, we want to ensure that the keywords are matching up with how hiring managers and recruiters are looking for talent. So if we're not aligning well on the keywords and storytelling of your profile with how job descriptions and keyword searches are happening for those roles, there might actually be a disconnect, which is where this mismatch could be happening. So you let me know, but these are a few things that are definitely coming to mind. The other thing I would say is if, let's say, you are being approached for a role or there is a role, then you're like, well, this isn't the right level for me. It's like maybe 2 levels too low, but it is a company I'm really interested in. That still opens the door to discuss a different type of position there. And you can do that fairly early on in an exploratory chat or an early stage interview if you are being interviewed for a position and you're like, okay, this might be a little bit too junior for me or not at the level that I'm at, but I am really excited about joining the organization and would be very open to exploring other roles that might be a better fit for my skill set, right? And so now you're, to the earlier comment I got prior to today's live, you're building relationships. You're showing that this is still an organization you're very interested in being a part of, but you want to make sure that you can bring the right value and have a role that will challenge you and elevate you in the way that you want, and also obviously meet your needs financially and be something that's exciting for you, right? You don't want to go into a role just to want to leave it in 3 months because you're like, this is super boring for me, or this isn't really hitting the mark on what I value. So these are a few things that you can keep in mind. But the big moral of my story here is build those relationships. Like, don't be shy to reach out or do the technique I just shared on LinkedIn of finding the hiring managers more proactively, or going to the company page on LinkedIn as an example and scrolling down to people and doing a filter search for some of the hiring talent or people that would be in your target department, like the directors or VPs, and already see what kind of activity they're putting out on LinkedIn and engaging with that. It's a great low hanging fruit to get on their radar and support you very much in your next step. So let me know if that already helps you give a few different ideas of how you could go towards that and really build your candidacy better, and make sure that you're finding something that really lights you up. I never want you to be undervalued. We actually just had, one of our amazing members, we had a few actually this week, but one of our amazing members just secured an unbelievable new role and over a $330,000 comp package, which was a huge step up from where she was prior. And this all happened like in less than 8 weeks. We got really intentional around her relationship building and visibility and exposure. She had been with her prior company for like over 15 years. So she hadn't looked for a new role in a long time. She hadn't negotiated in forever. She hadn't really gone through that process. But together, we really hit the ground running and focused on the right things in the right way to leverage her time very effectively. And that helped her secure multiple interview opportunities. But this one was her North Star for a target dream role. And she landed it and is just so, so happy to get started and make that transition with a pretty life-changing income that she's gotten from it as well. So I hope that's inspiring for you of what's possible with the right kind of support, and always happy to guide you on that. For anyone who is joining us here, you're more than welcome to schedule a call with me directly. Actually, on this call, it's a lot of fun because not only will we chat and get to know each other better, but I actually have my proprietary Career Growth Accelerator scorecard that you'll be able to complete with me. And that's going to really help you map out where your biggest growth gaps are right now. And I will specifically walk you through which strategic levers you need to pull on and how to use those to get to where you want to go faster. So we'll go through all of that on this free one-on-one call with me. If you are joining on Instagram, you could actually just comment call and I'll send you the details to schedule that. And if you're joining us over on LinkedIn, you can schedule that for my profile, or again, in my link in bio, you're going to have all of my respective resources there, including the free one-on-one call with me that you can schedule. So really looking forward to chatting with you and seeing how we can take that to the next level for you guys. Okay, fantastic questions. I have a few follow-up points as well that I'm going to share in terms of relationship building, but I do see another one here coming from Maggie, I think it is, Maggie J5. Oh, okay, yeah, sure. This is more for a collaboration opportunity. Thank you so much. feel free to send me a note. My DMs shouldn't be off. You should be able to still send me one. But if you're having any issues doing that over on Instagram, you can definitely connect with me over on LinkedIn. We could try that, and happy to learn more of what you might have in mind. Oh, I'm so happy that was helpful for you. Fantastic. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, we have another one here from Ali. What to do in a situation where your manager expects you to be more submissive and patient to earn the promotion when you are not valued on performance but on being the pet? Oh, yes, this is a good one. I'm so sorry that that's what you're going through and made to feel that way in your organization. If there's one thing I will shout from the rooftops any chance I get, is you have to advocate for yourself in your career and have those conversations, even if your manager is not as encouraging of that. Often that is coming more from their own insecurity or their unwillingness to really back you up in your growth goals. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't have those conversations. So I'm going to give you a few different strategies that you can use here, both with your manager, but also possibly with other decision makers in your company, because your manager is not the only decision maker when it comes to promotion decisions. It's made from multiple people, and you want to make sure that your visibility and your recognition and your perceived readiness is very clear amongst those different decision makers. And that's actually something we're going to be diving into a lot in my upcoming free masterclass for women at the end of July. So if you do want to join that, please be sure to comment grow on Instagram, and I will send you the details to sign up. Or if you're joining us on LinkedIn and YouTube, just head over to my LinkedIn. You're going to see the link right there at the top that you can use to save your spot as well. We'll be breaking it all down for you so that there's no guesswork in that. But if, let's say, your manager in this case is leading you to be more submissive or patient in your promotion, I think the best way to counter this is data. Okay. And so there's a few ways you're going to gather data on this. The first is you're going to bring your own data as to the evolution that you've had in your role for the last X amount of time, maybe the last 6 months, 1 year, year and a half. I don't know how long you've been in your position, but you want to really show how much you've evolved and grown from your starting point in that role to where you're at now. And similar to the first question that we had today, as it relates to the objectives that you're being evaluated against, right? Because if you can show, hey, this is how success is measured in my role, these are all the ways I've delivered on that very factually in terms of accomplishments, sharing what you've done and how you've done it and the results that it's brought, that's going to be really important data to ground your conversation with your boss in, to show like, look, I've already kind of come this far. The second piece is where you're going to get clarity around the decision-making criteria used towards the promotion. So you're not necessarily saying, I need the promotion tomorrow, but you're saying, based on what I've provided, I would like to really set myself up for success in landing this next promotion or moving into this next promotion by X timeline. And I'd like to understand what decision-making criteria is most used in that decision. And this is a really objective way of going about the conversation, because it's totally your right to learn what is the actual criteria. That way it doesn't feel like the goalpost is constantly moving and you're not getting trapped in, doing one thing when you should have been doing something else this whole time. So by asking about the decision-making criteria, it's coming from a place of, I'm curious to learn. I want to just be prepared. I want to make sure that I'm building a plan that's going to get me there with your support. And it is going to be something that's very constructive to build on with your manager. So that would be the second piece. And then the third piece from here is based off those two insights. So your track record and growth, and then this decision-making criteria. This is where you're going to really outline anything outstanding in terms of action steps that you need to showcase to make it happen. So you've kind of created this entire business case that's very factual and data-driven as opposed to emotionally driven. And you're walking out of this with a clear action plan with your boss's alignment from a timeline standpoint, from an action step standpoint, from a data standpoint and criteria standpoint. And that is something that's going to help you move away from feeling the passive, submissive stance of your manager to more forward action that you can take. That's kind of the manager piece. Outside of this, like I was alluding to, you're definitely going to want to have more one-on-one conversations with other decision makers in your organization that influence this decision. It's probably your boss's boss, for one. It could be other leaders like other VPs or C-level executives that you might want to get more exposed to. This is something we help our clients with extensively because I'm sure you can imagine there's so much nuance depending on the structure of your company, what the hierarchy levels look like, and what happens in those conversations. But ultimately, you want something that's going to land and build your visibility without relying on your boss. So I'm going to give you a quick tip. And it also goes to the comment that we got previous to today's live, which is how to have these types of conversations and build those relationships. The most important thing you can do, especially in building these relationships with senior leaders and getting that visibility for your promotion, is speak in the language that resonates with them. What I mean is figure out what are the priorities that matter to them and use that as your way in. So perhaps for you, Ali, you might have had a meeting with senior leaders, or you were part of a meeting that they were leading. You can actually use that as a segue for your follow-up conversations with them. Maybe saying something like, oh, Michelle, this was something that was really interesting that you shared in the recent town hall meeting that we had 2 weeks ago. I've been thinking about it a lot as it relates to my work, and it's something that I would love to support you further in. What would you say are your 3 goals tied to this over the next 6 months? And you're going to get some insight. Okay, that's really interesting. And, is there a certain challenge that you foresee that might block that type of progress? And then they're going to share some insights, right? And you're kind of asking these thoughtful questions that will help you determine pretty easily how you can better support them on that and how they can support you. And you can tie that back to your own promotion goals with saying something like, this is really helpful and obviously very insightful as I work towards my next promotion in the company. I've already been having some really great conversations with my manager of what that path looks like. I'm curious, do you have any additional feedback for me as I'm looking ahead at that next step and things I should be taking into account? So a conversation like this is fantastic because you're not overstepping your boss. You're just getting additional complementary insight that makes sure you're not leaving any stone unturned. And you're going to do that with these different types of decision makers in your company so that, again, you are not being submissive, you're not being passive, you're taking control of your career as you should, because no one else is going to do that for you. So those are a few key steps I would definitely recommend taking, and always happy to help. And again, for everyone joining us here, so happy to have you joining us. I know many are off right now for the 4th of July, but I still wanted to come back in here and support you guys in your career right now. I know there's some burning questions that we all have, and make sure that you are going into the weekend with a lot of confidence and feeling inspired to go after your next step. And if this is your first time joining here in a live with me, my name is Tiffany. I am a former L'Oreal exec and now career coach for incredible women looking to level up in their corporate careers, whether land better roles, faster promotions, speak with confidence, manage a lot of the internal dynamics that we never learn how to do, but actually make the difference in getting you to where you want to go faster. I'm also a LinkedIn Learning instructor with close to 1 million learners, as well as a career coach for Microsoft. So I love coming here and supporting you guys on some of your pressing questions. I know there's a lot of information out there that can feel nerve-wracking and overwhelming and stressful. So my goal is always to make it really easy for you with practical tips you can implement right away. And I shared this at the beginning, but if any of you guys have missed them, definitely head over to my link in bio on whichever platform you're joining on right now, because I have all of my free resources there, including my weekly newsletter and some incredible trainings and freebies that are going to support you very much right now in leveling up. So go ahead and grab those. And if you're joining us over on Instagram, you could just comment "learn" on our live right now, and I will send you the details to join me in my weekly newsletter. I'll also send you from there my communication playbook. It's my confident communication playbook that has my 50 best scripts to get seen, heard, and promoted faster. So just comment "learn" on Instagram and I'll send that your way. Or if you're joining from LinkedIn, again, you can grab that right in my featured section or in my link in bio there too, whatever's easier for you. Same thing from YouTube, you'll grab that over in my description, but if you're not finding it for whatever reason, please just head over to my LinkedIn at Tiffany Human. You can't miss me, I'm the only one, and you'll find it all there too. Okay, fantastic. Let me see if there's any other questions that are coming through. We have one here around cover letters, so I will take that one as well. Am I missing any? Okay, I'm loving the questions so far, guys. Keep them coming. These are fantastic. So, how to write a good cover letter or how to build a good cover letter is the exact question. Yes. So, a few things on cover letters. The first is this is different than a resume. I always find that's important to clarify. It's not just a rehash of your resume. If you want to think about it, your resume is almost like the what, and your cover letter is the why. I like that positioning for you because cover letters are very emotive. They're meant to reinforce your fit for the role in the company. And so you don't want it to just be an exact repeat of your resume. This is a really good place to do more storytelling to show why you plus the organization are a great match together. So, typical structure I like to recommend for a cover letter is 3 parts. The first part is the initial hook. Okay, that's your first paragraph where I want you to integrate a story that's going to really resonate and pull on some heartstrings with the hiring manager or the recruiter or whoever is going to be reading this. And we've seen some incredible cover letters with our clients that have really nailed this format. Okay. And so you want this initial hook to be something meaningful. You do not want to start a cover letter with, I'm excited to apply for X role at X company. It's like so generic. Everyone does their cover letters like that. And if you're going to do a cover letter, let's make it count, right? There's certain roles that won't require a cover letter, but unless they're specifying not to include one, it doesn't hurt and it can really build on your application. So this hook could be maybe a story around what this company means to you. Maybe it's like a brand that you've used growing up or that your parents always used growing up and that's had like a staple in your household. Maybe it's a recent speech or conference that the CEO spoke at that you are really drawn to and some of the takeaways that really stood out to you. Maybe it's a recent YouTube video that you came across, a recent campaign that you saw. Maybe it's just something that's really connected with the work that you've done in your career or what you're really passionate about, right? So you want to find something very personalized that connects you to the company, not just the role, right? Because the whole idea in going for a position is not just for the short term, but how you are a fit longer term with them as well. Whether you choose to stay there long term or not is a bit besides the point. They just want, you want them to feel that from you. So that's how you really want to structure this first paragraph around, from this level of connection and emotion. And then, of course, you could end the paragraph with, and that's why I'm really excited about X role within the organization where I'm able to really contribute to this or, support this mission or however you want to end that. Then it comes to the midsection, which is the second part of the cover letter. And I typically like pulling on 3 of the biggest core competencies of the role or facets of the role. And you're going to have kind of these mini statements that will lead into a bullet point of how you've delivered on that. So this could sound something like, knowing that, innovation is a crucial part of this role. Here's how I've delivered on that in my recent position of X. And then you're going to have an accomplishment right there that really highlights that. And you're going to do that 2 and 3 times over for those core competencies that shows these highlights in a nutshell of how you really deliver on what they need for this position. And then that's going to lead you to the third part of the cover letter, the final part, which is kind of bringing it all together, right? This could be kind of just recapping that based on, my track record in XYZ and, the focus in this role on ABC. I'm really looking forward to being a part of the team and supporting, this vision of fill in the blank, right? And you could always tweak that last part a little bit and make it even more memorable, maybe more emotive there as well. You don't want it to sound too generic. That's why I'm giving you these very practical examples right now. And that's essentially it. And I have a 1-up for this feedback that I'm sharing with the question that came through around how to build a good cover letter. And if you are game for it, and if it's a company that you are really excited about, you can even do a video cover letter, right? Most candidates are not going to do this, but it's all about standing out in today's, competitive market. And it also shows that if you're willing to do that for an application, just imagine what you'd be doing if you were actually hired into the role. So you can take a very similar structure to what I've shared in terms of the cover letter, but actually use this in more of a video format. And you could film it on Loom. It could be like a Zoom recording. It could be an unlisted video on YouTube, like whatever is easier for you. But it just shows a lot of personality. It shows courage. It shows that you're bold to do something like this. And we've seen that work extremely well for our clients in landing their offers and fast tracking their way into an interview process. So don't be shy in doing this. It works, especially if you do it really well. These are just a few of the things that we support our clients on daily in landing incredible offers, anywhere from 150K to 450K plus offers, or faster promotions in their organizations, and really leveling up faster. So always happy to support on that. And again, if you are, actively working right now and looking to grow in your company, or you're wanting to make a transition somewhere else and you're a woman in corporate, please reach out. I would love to chat with you. Like I said earlier, you can actually book a free one-on-one call with me where we will specifically go through my Career Growth Accelerator scorecard. It's a really enlightening exercise to see where your biggest growth gaps are right now and what you need to do to fix it. I'm going to share all of that with you on the call in a way that's specific to your situation. So you can actually book that call right over on Instagram. Again, you could just comment call and I will send you those details straight to your DMs, or you can book it from my link in bio. And over on LinkedIn, you could actually do that again from my link in bio, or just scroll down on my feature section and you'll see the option to book that call there as well. Okay, some great questions. I'm going to come back real quick to the one that we came in before around building relationships and landing a new role and building meaningful relationships. I think I touched on quite a few facets of that today already, but perhaps some additional ones that I will share is don't underestimate the importance of reconnecting with your existing network, because there's people you're already connected to, probably on LinkedIn, and they don't necessarily know that you're looking for a new role or that you're at this phase of your career ready for a different move. And so we don't want to take that for granted. And two, they might be in a different role or different position than when you first connected with them. Maybe they're already working at a company you're really interested in. Maybe they are having done a move that you're really thinking about for yourself. And so actually going through your LinkedIn network with a fine-tooth comb to see where are they at right now, what is their role, is a great starting point. You already are connected to them. It's not a total stranger. Maybe it's an acquaintance, maybe it's someone that you know better, but regardless, it's a great way of re-engaging with them. And similar to what I shared a little earlier, you're going to want to follow up with them with a one-on-one message that's very personalized. So I would simply recommend perhaps going to their profile, seeing like a new piece of information that you can latch onto and use that as your gateway to have that follow-up. And this could sound something like, hi name. I know it's been a little while since we connected. I noticed that you've recently stepped into X role at X company. That is amazing. How has that been going for you? I'm also at a point of looking at my next step, and I would love to chat more of how things have been going on your end, and perhaps have a quick call together at your earliest convenience. Would you be opposed to that? And I like ending these types of kind of conversations or DMs with a question like that, because they're more obliged to respond when there's a question as opposed to ending it with a statement. So that's just a really quick, practical way that you can do this. And you can do that across like your entire network. And I would say go, have fun with it. Like do as many of these as you can, because not everyone's going to be as responsive. Not everyone's even as active on LinkedIn, but there's going to be the people who are. And you want to just build those inroads as much as you can, because you could be like 1 or 2 connections away from an amazing new opportunity. And you just have to do that outreach. And that's exactly what we support our clients on, who do this extremely well with our support and my framework, to get in front of the right people, build really meaningful conversations that don't feel icky or awkward. It's like very genuine, very authentic. And it fast tracks their way into interview processes, gets them more recommendations and referrals on the inside, and brings home those offers that have been quite life-changing for them. So always happy to help you guys on this as well. All right. I know it's a little quieter today because of 4th of July, but I'm so glad that you are all able to still join me here and get some of your questions answered. I want to make sure I'm not missing any, so I'm just doing a little bit of refreshing here. And again, for anyone who is just recently joining, first off, again, thank you so much for joining us here. I hope this is helpful for you. And please don't be shy in sharing any questions that you have that are top of mind for you. I normally see those come through across the different platforms we're streaming on right now. And again, just because I like giving away free stuff, please be sure to grab my free resources over in my link in bios, depending where you're joining us from. They're available on Instagram, on LinkedIn, and on YouTube. You can just grab them from my website or over on one of these platforms as well if you don't see them on my YouTube page right now. And these cover interview resources, salary resources, confident communication resources, of course, my weekly newsletter, which is the one I definitely want to have you join. Every week, I'm publishing this 2 times every week on Mondays and Fridays to level up, get ahead faster, land better roles, faster promotions, speak with confidence. And I share very practical tips and strategies and scripts that you can literally apply right now. I always love the feedback we get from our weekly newsletter, from our community there, and how they're putting it into action. So you definitely belong there with us too. Just comment learn on Instagram, and I will send the details your way and share my confident communication playbook with you, which has 50 of my best scripts to get seen, heard, and promoted faster. If you're joining us on LinkedIn, you can actually just grab all of that from my link in bio really easily, or on my featured section as well. Okay, let's make sure there's no other questions that I haven't missed. And by the way, like I said, if you are a woman in corporate right now and feeling a little bit stuck, not sure what's next, you know you're capable of more, you're dealing with some challenges in your workplace, you want to grow, you want to land a better role somewhere else, you have to join me at my free masterclass at the end of July. It is a live session for only 100 women, and the spots are already filling really fast. But I'm going to be breaking down everything you need to know to make that happen and make that happen fast. We are seeing incredible wins from our clients, and I'm breaking down exactly how they're doing that in this masterclass so that you can use that and apply it right away. So if you are joining us on Instagram, just comment grow and I will send you those details to sign up. And if you are watching this on LinkedIn, all good. You can just head to my link in bio and you're going to see the link right there to save your spot. I can't wait to have you join us. We have some special surprises and amazing guests joining us there as well. And let's make this a breakthrough year for you. You deserve that. We are at the halfway point. I can't believe we're the 4th of July. There is officially less of the year left than there was just a few days ago. So we got to make the most of it, right? And I love doing these lives with you guys every Friday. Thank you for joining us here. Be it this is your time to get questions answered, get real, practical advice that works, no guesswork, no nonsense or strategies that sound nice but just are really, really ineffective. I like bringing you the things that are working right now. Like I said, I'm a coach for amazing women. I coach teams at Microsoft. I have the pulse of what matters right now, especially with AI on the rise, to level up, which soft skills matter more than ever, like adaptability and communication and empathy and innovation. So this is where you need to be with me every week to make sure you're getting it from the source and using it to your advantage. I'm going to do a quick last scan to make sure I didn't miss any questions that might have come through. Let me just scroll back here real quick. Let me know if there are any last questions before we wrap up together today. But I'm so happy that all the things I shared are so helpful for you guys. Thank you for bringing amazing questions forward. Don't hesitate to DM me. Let me know what your biggest takeaways were from today's live. I always love doing this with you guys, and I will be back here next Friday as well. So be on the lookout. And I hope you all have a wonderful 4th of July weekend and enjoy it. If you are celebrating, if not, either way, have a wonderful weekend. I look forward to seeing you back here next week. All right. Bye, everyone. Have a good one.